All right, thanks, Al. Today we're going to be talking about PPC advertising. First, what it is, how you can use it, how it's good for your business, and a lot of different strategies on how to use it effectively. It's not enough to just know what it is, but you have to know the best ways to use it. So let's get started then. So first, what is pay-per-click advertising? Pay-per-click advertising is a form of advertising where your ads only cost you money if somebody clicks on them. This webinar we're going to talk about PPC ads you can set up with both Google AdWords and Microsoft Ad Center. Google AdWords obviously deals with ads on Google, and Microsoft AdWords places ads on Bing, Yahoo, and a few other search networks that Microsoft owns. So for our purposes, the concepts and theory behind them are basically the same. The only difference is between their interface, which we're not really going to touch on that much. So for our intents and purposes, AdWords and Ad Center, very much the same thing. So where can your PPC ads appear? So when you decide to purchase PPC ads, they're going to appear, most of the time, we're talking about search engine ads. And those are going to appear on the search engine results page of Google or Bing or whichever search engine you choose. So they're going to appear above and to the right of your regular organic search results. And organic search results are the ones that you don't pay for. Those are just based on your ranking. But as you can see, the paid ads are really in a great spot to get a lot of traffic, to get a lot of attention from people who are searching for things. So this is where they'd appear on Google, and this is a Bing search page, and they appear in pretty much the same spot, right above and to the right of all the organic search engine results. Which begs the question, why would I use PPC advertising? There's a lot of great benefits, and there's a lot of ways to accomplish different advertising goals. It's really easy to control how much you're spending with PPC. You can choose exactly how much you're willing to pay for each click on an ad. So by sending a maximum cost per click, you can choose to say that I will never spend more than $2 for a click on a particular ad that I'm showing, which is great because if you have a tight budget, then you can definitely limit exactly how much you're willing to pay for a visit to your site. You can also choose really flexible budgets, daily or monthly, to kind of control how much you're spending at a time, and you can also, if you choose like daily budgets, you can change them throughout the month. So you're not stuck with one budget throughout the month. If circumstances change, you can't spend as much. It's definitely easily adjustable. PPC is a great way to bring traffic to your site in a short amount of time. A lot of advertising strategies take months to work, like search engine optimization, and those are big long-term results. But your PPC ads can start bringing users to your site a few hours after they're created, as opposed to waiting months. So within a week, you can see an incredible amount of traffic to your site being increased. And finally, you can choose only whichever keywords you'd like to appear for. So you can make sure that your ads are showing to the right people when they're searching for you. It's a really great proactive way to get people to your site because you know that they're searching for something that you can offer them. And so by putting the right keywords in, the right ads, you can show those people that you have what they're looking for. So I think we have a poll right now. Elle's going to start that up.
Yes, everyone. So we do have a poll that we're going to launch right now, and I'm going to put it up right about now. Let me just launch this. So our poll is, do you currently have a pay-per-click account? And the options are yes, no, and not yet, but I would like to set one up. So please take a second and vote on that. I see already half of you guys have voted, which is fantastic. Really, really great. Let's keep that up. And in the meantime, I would just like to also point out that we do have a questions box. So if at any point in time you guys have any questions about, managing your pay-per-click account or specifically how you would set one up or any of these things, feel free to just type them in right into the questions box, and I'm going to be monitoring that and making sure that Megan gets all your questions answered. And in the meantime, I see that most of you guys have voted, so I'll leave this up for another 10 or 15 seconds. And then I'm going to share the results. So 5 more seconds or so, and I'll just show everybody the results of this poll. Okay, so let me just share these results with everyone. So out of our question, do you currently have a pay-per-click account? About 46 of you guys said that you do, which is great. 23% said that no, you don't have one, and 31% said that you'd like to set one up, which is awesome. I know that we can definitely help you with setting up a pay-per-click account. That is something that we definitely specialize in. So we'll make sure to give you a call afterwards and make sure we get all that squared away for you. But in the meantime, I'm just going to hide this poll and get back to Megan.
Great, thanks. So let's talk about A little about how your PPC account works. The way the PPC accounts work is there's a specific structure. You can have multiple campaigns in your account, and each campaign has multiple ad groups. Again, know it's a little confusing if you don't know what I'm talking about, so maybe we should start at the bottom, keywords, which is something that a lot of people are familiar with. The keywords that you choose determine what kind of search terms your ads will show up for. So they can be very broad, they can be specific, all based on the different settings you set for each keyword. And we'll talk a little later about how to pick really good keywords for your ad groups. The ad groups themselves are collections of similar keywords. So each ad group has a set of keywords and a set of ads that go with those keywords. So if a user searches for one of the keywords in an ad group, they might see any of the ads from that same ad group. And you can have as many ad groups as you like in each campaign, and you can divide them any way you'd like. It's all up to you. A campaign is the highest level organization, so that's a number of ad groups all grouped together in one campaign. And different settings like geographical targeting, language targeting, budgets, stuff like that is all set at the campaign level. So it's a great way to kind of divvy up different ways to target people into different campaigns so that you don't have, you can target one campaign to a certain area of the country, but then another campaign can be, the entire country or something like that. And there's a great benefit to having a lot of campaigns. Since you set each budget individually, you can really customize how much you're willing to spend for different categories of what you're offering. So if you don't really understand what I'm talking about, don't worry. I have an example. So here's a sample AdWords account. Let's say you're you're a store that sells a lot of different things. One of the things you focus on is furniture. So you have a furniture campaign, and then within that campaign, since you want to be pretty specific with your ad groups, you can have different ad groups like leather sectionals, leather love seats, stuff like that. So this way, when a user searches for something specific like leather sectional, they're going to see an ad that really is about exactly what they're looking for, rather than just a generic ad for your company that doesn't really tell them anything. All right, so there's a couple of different managing a PPC account is an ongoing process. It's really creating all the ad groups and the campaigns and stuff like that. You do that one time, but most of the work in managing your PPC account is reviewing things and making sure that things are working the way that you want them to. So I'd like to think, I put up here, there's a nice cycle of 4 different things that are involved in managing your PPC account. So you start at the top, obviously researching keywords and ad group ideas. So thinking of different people you'd like to target, different searches you'd like to target. Then you move from there to create ads and direct them to different landing pages on your site, which we'll go into in a minute. The third thing is you're going to review the performance of all the different parts of your PPC account, the ads, the landing pages, the keywords, stuff like that. And then finally, you're going to take that information and you're going to use it to refine your campaigns. Keep the stuff that works, stuff that doesn't work, maybe try something new, and really get the best out of your account. So when you're thinking of keywords, there's a couple things to keep in mind. What does your business do? How is your business special? Different things like that are great ways to target people, because if somebody's searching for not just we'll go back to the furniture again, if they're looking for furniture but also furniture made here in the US, maybe that could be a really great specific keyword since you know that you offer something just like that. Really try for a good variety. Make sure you get a lot of different ones in the beginning to see what works and what doesn't. There's nothing worse than putting a bunch of too specific keywords in there and never getting any hits, because then you're just wasting your own time. But when you can, really try to be specific, because if you have very specific keywords, you'll usually get more relevant traffic because people search for closer to what you offer. There's less competition for the very specific keywords. There's a lot less competition for blue women's shoes than just shoes. And your ads can have much higher ranking potential if they're more specific and more relevant to your site. So it's a great way to appear up higher in the search results just by having better matches to all the different keywords that you have. When you're doing keywords, there's a couple of different match types that you can put in. I'll just go through these quickly, but this is basically covering everything on the spectrum from really broad to really specific. Broad keywords, anything similar to those words will really come up. It's usually, when you're starting out, broad keywords are great because they give you great ideas, but you'll notice that a lot of times you'll be getting traffic that doesn't necessarily relate to your business. Phrase and exact are better for that kind of, once you know what people are searching for and what works for you, phrase and exact are a great way to really hone in on that good traffic and, give great examples. There's here, if you put, for phrase, Caribbean cruise, then anytime those 2 words in that order appear in a search term, your ad can be triggered. Exact is the same thing, except only those two words can appear. So rather than, in the exact match, Caribbean Cruise Lines will not show up because your exact match has to say exactly Caribbean Cruise. And finally, negative keywords are great when you know for a fact that you don't want certain search terms to trigger your ads. So the example here is you don't want people to find Tom Cruise search results. You don't want people searching for Tom Cruise to see your ads because you offer Caribbean cruises and that's not related. Another great example is if you have a website that sells products but you don't offer to repair that product, like if you sell TVs, you can make a negative keyword for repairs because you don't want people searching for TV repairs to see your ads to buy TVs. Alright, so now that you have keywords, you have to worry about what ads people are going to see when they search for them. Every ad has a headline, 2 description lines, a display URL, and a destination URL. And over on the right there, you can see where everything appears. The headline is the top. It's the one that links to your page. It's nice and blue. And if a person's keyword is within your headline or description, it'll be bold. Then there's 2 description lines that can describe pretty much anything you want within reason. Google has a lot of ad policies, and so does Bing. You can't use certain trademarks. There's certain products you can't sell, but pretty much whatever you want to say on there is good. It's a great place to highlight different specials you're having and what people should do with this information, like buy now or visit our site, stuff like that. And finally, the display URL is the last thing that appears in the ad. That can be anything you want. It doesn't have to be a real URL. It can just be customized to whatever the particular search is related to. And the destination URL does not appear in the ads, but that's the URL you're going to actually direct the ads to go to. So that's going to lead to your landing page. What is a landing page? It's the web page a user lands on after clicking on one of your ads. And this can be any page on your site you want, but it's important to choose a good landing page. And here's how to choose one. When you're trying to choose a landing page, you have to make sure that you pick the page that's most relevant to what the user is looking for and what your ad says. So you should always avoid using your home page unless you really don't have a specific page that's relevant. But in general, your home page, you want to make sure that people who click your ad for something specific find it very, very easy to get to what they wanted. So why not just give them what they want in the first place? So in the first example, if your ad is about purchasing stereo equipment, a pretty good landing page is a list of all the available audio equipment, but the best landing page is if you bring them to a category page that's all about the stereo equipment itself. And the second example, same thing. If you're a landscaping company, I guess your homepage is a pretty good landing page, and it talks about your company itself. But the best landing page is the page that lists your services and their costs and stuff like that. Because if your ad is telling people like, oh, we offer landscaping services, you might as well bring them right to the page that's going to be most helpful to them. And not only is that just good for your actual ad placement, we'll find out later, but users tend to respond to that better because they know exactly where they're going. They went to write what they wanted, so they're not really, wandering around your site without any idea of what they should do. Landing pages are relevant in a lot of ways, but also to how your ad is going to be positioned. When search engines rank your ads, every time a user searches for something, an auction happens within the search engine that determines which ads will be shown to them and in what order. So your ad's position is your quality score multiplied by your maximum bid. The maximum bid, like we talked about before, is the most you're willing to pay for a click on a keyword. And then you set that number when you create your ad groups right in the beginning. And the quality score is a little more complicated. That's a combination of a few different things, including a click-through rate, which is the number of times people clicked on your ad divided by the number of times people saw your ad. So higher click-through rate means when people see it, they're more likely to click it. Your landing page quality, which we just talked about. Better landing pages lead to higher quality scores. And finally, the past performance of that keyword. So in the past, have people been clicking on it or just kind of ignoring that ad? Have they gotten to your site and then just left immediately? Stuff like that is going to affect your quality score. So doing well in all these categories shows search engines that your site is relevant to the keyword, and it shows that you are a high-quality search result for that keyword. So it shows users and Google that you know what you're talking about, that this ad is well placed and that it goes to the right place. So the third chain in the cycle that we talked about is reviewing account performance. So this is just checking out how all the ad groups and campaigns you created are doing. You can review your account's performance right in AdWords or Ad Center. Here I'm showing a screen from AdWords. On On the left you can see a couple of the different ad groups that I created, and the great info here is stuff like clicks and impressions or views for each ad group, and the click-through rate they calculate for you right there. They tell you how much you're spending for each click, stuff like that. So this is a great place to see which ad groups are costing you the most without actually, without actually showing you. Anyway, and then you can also check in AdWords. It's great to see the performance of different ads. You should always write a few different ads for each ad group to test different wording and different, organization of different phrasing and stuff like that, because you never know what users are going to respond to. So you can also check out which ads are doing the best, which ads get the most clicks compared to impressions, and maybe you can use that information to write better ads that users are more likely to click on. The information in Ad Center and AdWords right here can be really helpful, but it only covers information about keywords and ads you created. So to find out what users do once your paid ads bring them to your website, you can use something like Google Analytics.
I think on that note, we're going to launch another poll. So let me just launch this one right now. And the poll is, do you have Google Analytics on your website? And the options that you could choose between are, I do, and I use it frequently. I do, but I never check it. No, I don't have Google Analytics, or what's Google Analytics anyway, if you're not that sure about what it is. So let's everybody take a second and vote really quickly. In the meantime, Megan, I do see a few questions for you. Would you rather wait till the end of the presentation, or? Okay, so let's
tackle now.
Let's do one of them right now. So the first question I see is from Matt, and the question is, which gives you more bang for your buck in the long term, PPC or traditional SEO?
I mean, in terms of bang for your buck, I guess it depends on how much you're spending on SEO. I mean, if you're doing it yourself and it doesn't cost you anything, well, then that technically means you're going to get way more bang for your buck there because it's free. I guess it depends on what you're looking to do. I think that PPC is a great strategy if you're starting SEO work, but you know that it's going to take a long time. PPC is a great way to keep traffic up while you're waiting for that kind of to kick in, and SEO will pay off in the long run, but immediately, you still want to get that traffic. It's also a great way to establish like a new site because obviously, once again, it's going to take a while for that to kind of get up and running. PPC will bring people to your site hours after you create the stuff. So it's definitely more immediate, but it will cost you money in the long term, so be ready for that.
Gotcha. And in the meantime, I see that most of you guys have voted, so let me just close out this poll and share the results with everyone. So it appears that 46% of you guys say that you do have Google Analytics on your website and that you use it frequently, which is awesome. It's a really good thing. About 15% use it, or rather have it but never check it, and another 15% don't have it at all, which I guess Megan might touch briefly about why that's not a great idea. And in terms of what the 23 of you guys who said, what is Google Analytics? Well, you're about to find out. So let's just jump right back into this and explain what it is.
All right. Google Analytics is incredibly useful. It's a free tool that's easy to install on your website right away. It can give you a lot of great information, like where your traffic's coming from, how long users are staying on your site, how many visits you're getting in general, all sorts of stuff like that. For PPC, one of the best useful things we can use it for is figuring out if the traffic we're getting from those ads is turning into meaningful traffic on our website. Because you don't want somebody clicking on your ad and then as soon as they're getting to your site, leaving right away, because that, you paid for that click, but that user's not going to do whatever you wanted them to do on your website. So two of the best statistics we can look at here for that kind of thing are average visit duration and bounce rate. So as you can see, the one on the left, average visit duration, that's obviously how long the average user spent on your site after they got there. All the way on the left, I divided it up by campaigns. You can divide it up even further by clicking on those campaigns and seeing individual ad groups and keywords. So if you're curious how keywords perform even compared to each other, you can go that far down and see maybe one keyword might be a little too broad, so more people are leaving, or they're only spending 3 seconds on your website. And the other statistic is bounce rate, which is bounce rate. People bounce from your website when they leave right away without viewing another page. So that's a bad thing. You don't want people to be bouncing from your site. That's just money that you're losing on PPC advertising then. So we can use all this to see if the money we're spending is well spent, because maybe we can use this to write more specific ads, or maybe we figure out that users are expecting something different when they come to our site. So if we're offering a particular deal that they can't find when they get to that page, they're probably just going to leave rather than start to dig around on your website. One of the other things we can use in AdWords and Ad Center is called conversions. Conversions occur when a user completes a desired action on your website. So that could happen when somebody purchases something that you offer, when they sign up for a newsletter, when they view a certain page that you think is important for them to view. You can have AdWords or Ad Center track conversions for you. And conversion tracking is really a great idea if one of the goals of your PPC advertising is not just to get people to your site, but to generate online sales or generate, online signups or leads, stuff like that, because you can see which of your keywords are leading to the conversions that you want. It's also great to see if certain ads are maybe leading to more conversions than another one. Maybe one ad just has better writing that indicates to people that they should buy whatever you're selling. And finally, you can also use it to see if different ads lead to different landing pages. Maybe different landing pages have different conversion rates because one landing page does not show properly how to get to the next step, like signing up for a newsletter. Maybe there's not an obvious link. Maybe it might be better for you to put a contact form right on the landing page rather than waiting for them to find it on your website somewhere else. So conversion tracking is a great way once you have enough data once you start it up to really see how much you're spending for each sale or sign up on your website. And then you can really from there try to optimize and try to get rid of the things that aren't really generating conversions, so then you end up paying less for each conversion that you have. And finally, the fourth thing in the cycle, refining your campaigns. It's always great to be trying different things, writing new ads, adding new keywords. There's an unlimited amount of different new things you can add, so there's no reason to just stick with what you got if it's not working. One of the things you should always do is pause keywords and ads that aren't doing as well if you're looking to lower cost per conversion, stuff like that. But never delete old keywords, ads, stuff like that, because once you delete them, the statistics and information from that are gone. So even if you're not running the ads, that information is still useful, it's still helpful. You can look back later and see what did well and what didn't without getting rid of all those entirely. So you can just pause all the things that aren't working so you still get the information without paying for those ads anymore. All right, one of the things that all of this before was really about the search network, and because that's kind of the most common one that's going to generate immediate traffic for you. But the display network really opens you up to a whole more variety of ads and more variety of ways to get your information to people. So the Google Display Network is a large network of sites. They display ads from Google. Ad Center has a similar program, the Ad Center Content Network. It opens you up to more available ad types like image and video ads. I know Google is partnered with YouTube, so you can that's how you get the YouTube ads, like on top of videos that everybody always X's out of right away, stuff like that. And plus on the Google Display Network, there's more ways to target people. It's not just keywords. Keywords is one of them, but you can also target you can choose to place your ads on sites about certain interests or topics, like maybe sites about Major League Baseball or sites about food and culinary schools and stuff like that. And you can also do something called managed placements, which is if you know the site that's on the Google Display Network, you can choose for your ads to run on that particular site. The only difference with that is that you have to be aware of, if you pick a particular site and it's a very popular site, it might cost you a little more to get the clicks on that site. But it's really great if you know for a fact you want to advertise on one specific website, you can do that. You can just choose right away, I want my ads to appear on PerezHilton.com is the only one I got off the top of my head, but that is one. He has Google Ads. And finally, one of the coolest display network campaigns that you can do is a remarketing campaign. I bet you a lot of you have already seen other places that you go on the internet. You've seen Ajax Union ads. Well, we have remarketing campaigns, and you can too. So what happens is when you go to when somebody comes to your website, you have a code placed on the website in your source code. People can't see it, but it's on there. And when a user views a page there, it tags your computer for 30 days with a cookie. And then when that user goes to sites that are on the Google Display Network, remember there's thousands and thousands of those sites, your ad might be one of the ones that appears to them on that site. So it's a great way to target people who've been to your site, but it's also one of the coolest things you can do with it is if you have a tag for people who visited your site, but maybe you have another tag for when they purchase something, you can target people who visited your site but did not complete their purchase and then show them ads all around the web saying, like, don't forget, come back, your cart still has stuff in it, don't forget to come back and finish your purchase. So it's really great to kind of make sure the users who have been to your site aren't forgetting about you, and that they're coming back for either repeating their purchase or finishing the purchase that they didn't finish. So those are all the different kinds of things you can learn about PPC. Let's see if we have any questions.
In the meantime, yes, Megan, I do see one more question from Matt. He was curious about the other quality score that you were talking about beforehand, and his question is, if you're a new business, how do you best impact the historical performance aspect of the quality score?
Well, obviously you don't have any historical performance, so really the best thing that you can do is, since you're a new business, you can start out right away with having great landing pages and stuff like that, because having relevant landing pages and stuff like that is definitely one of the key parts of that. So since you're starting out new, you know you can pick the best ones. Historical performance really affects you more when it's negative than when it doesn't exist, because, you know, obviously Google's not going to penalize you for having a brand new website. But if your site has shown millions and millions of ads and only one person's clicked on them, then that kind of sends more of a signal to Google than just not having any historical performance at all. So it's not something to worry about. It's definitely something that you can fix by really focusing on landing page quality, and then hopefully once people start clicking on your ads, you know, that'll keep your stellar quality score going.
Perfect. And in the meantime, do you guys have any other questions? I don't see any right now, but hold on, I do see one more question. Let me just see this very quickly. So the question is, it's a little long, but so sometimes when you search for something on large websites, I'm sorry, my computer is a little spastic right now. I'm not sure that this question's coming up on my computer right now. I'm not sure why. I do see who asked it though, so I can make sure that we get back to you in a personal email, because for some reason it's not popping up with me.
Here, I think I could see it.
Okay.
Sometimes when you search for some stuff, real huge websites come up in the sponsored ads, Amazon, etc. I don't believe that someone actually sits and enters all the info, keywords into Google. I believe they have a dynamic system that searches the site and creates ads. This is a thing that is available to smaller businesses. Well, I know that personally, if you use the Adwords editor and stuff like that, there's some programs, there's like an offline desktop program for both Adwords and Ad Center, and within that program, one of the things that they enable is adding things via spreadsheet, which is incredibly useful, even for small businesses. I use it all the time. If you have, I don't know if maybe people are familiar with Excel, but Excel, you can have different formulas and stuff that kind of autofill. So you can create keywords based, you can have a product list on the left and just kind of generate keywords from those, ads from those, landing pages from those automatically, and then you can upload thousands at a time, which really kind of definitely saves you a lot of time. And I have to believe that that's what big companies are probably doing something similar. But definitely, like, if you're using something like that, you can mass upload a ton of things really quickly. And since Excel autofills everything for you, it's really just a matter of filling in the formulas in the first place. And then after that, you're good to go. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, hopefully it did. And otherwise, you can always email us at info@ajaxunion.com. I'll type it into the chat box right now. Sometimes people email us with questions, and we always make sure to get those answered for you. So it's just info@ajaxunion.com, and I just sent it to the entire audience, but hopefully that was answered. And otherwise, right on time. It is 12:29, so thank you guys so much for joining in on our webinar. It was incredibly helpful, I think, and it was a pleasure to see you guys and to have you guys here, and hopefully we'll see you guys at our next webinar. Thanks so much, everyone.